Welcome to episode number 29 of Shift Inside. Today is going to move you, and maybe not in the nicest way. For once, on Shift Inside, we're probably going to ruffle your feathers. It's a huge truth dropping on the coaching and healing industry, especially the spiritual part of it. We talked with Salvija about what's really going on behind the scenes, about all the scamming that is happening in this place and the fact that so many mentors, coaches, only care about their wallets and not about how they make people feel about their clients, which in the end, we as service providers are supposed to do. We're supposed to take care of people at first, genuinely. And it's not just about the money. At least that shouldn't be the first reason why we do what we do. Truth is, in this industry, it went kind of wrong. And Salvija is not holding back. She has this very spicy, darkish vibe, and she's a character. And I love her. I love how she's expressing herself because she's herself. She's raw, she's authentic, she's true, and she comes with all her edges, and she tells you with this raw honesty what's really happening behind the scenes. She is a scam expert. She knows, she does the work, to check in, read between the lines, and know what is a scam and what is not. We talk about the pyramidal industry and all those behaviors that are going on in this industry. And please, if you ever found yourself in those situations where you had to go in debt, where people ask you to basically pay a mortgage, to invest in coaching, in programs, you better double check. And maybe you better listen to that episode because she's going to tell you the truth and share her knowledge and some insights on, helping you avoid those situations where you end up in a crap situation, basically, and having to pay your debt. And to be fair, I've been in this situation, not too crazy to the point I'm like in a huge, huge debt, but I dip my toe in that universe and I see what's possible there. I see that it can go really, really wrong. So we want to avoid that for you. We want to spare you the pain. And come sit with us again. And this is what I will mention at the beginning of the discussion. Please listen with your own eyes, with your own ears, and realize what's in it for me, what's not. And if you feel triggered, because this episode is going to be triggering, it was as well for me, this conversation, if I'm being very honest, in the good way. Doesn't mean that it's going to feel good, but it's always good as a way to realize, hey, there is still like something in me that's reacting, that's being triggered. So what's happening? What is that part? Am I still holding on to the illusion? Do I want to believe so bad in the illusion? Because then what? To avoid feeling terrible? To avoid feeling the shame of, oh shit, I've been scammed? Who knows? It's on you. Before we dive, I really ask you, please take the ownership. If you feel triggered, own it. If you believe what we say, own it and double check. If you don't, own it as well. And check really in your truth. Being radically honest with yourself. That's all I'm asking you to do. Okay, are you ready? Enjoy the ride. Okay, welcome everyone for this new episode. Welcome, Salvija. I'm really happy to have you here. And today, today we started we just started off the mic wondering, what are we going to speak about? And actually with Salvija, we've been connecting about the reality of the coaching industry, the healing industry. And there is so much to say about that. And it's not all like glitters and glam and amazing and, puppies everywhere. Like in this industry, there is a lot going on. And I've realized, and also what I was telling you right before we started, that there starts to be a wave of people who are done with how the things are done in the industry. Like there's a lot of scans, this pyramidal structure, and so many of us, and actually that was also me, like don't want to believe it because we really hope that this is true, that we can get to that place making millions and millions or whatever. Like we dream of this life, and I don't say that it's impossible, but I say, and we say, hey, you better have a look of at what's really going on behind the scenes and behind the stage. And now, before we start, I don't want to say that that's the case for everybody in the industry. There are people who are really heart-centered, heart-led, and what they're doing is beautiful. It's just that you need to know that this is a tiny part of the industry, and there is a lot of noise, a lot of beautiful things, and a lot of horrific things. So that's what we're gonna address today. Get ready, because Salvia doesn't hold herself, in the sense she's gonna tell you things how she will tell them. Like in the most, raw, authentic, and kind of spicy, pinchy way, which I really like, because we need more of that actually. So I'll let you introduce yourself to our audience before we get started.
Ooh, the introduction is like the most challenging part. So, my
Mm-hmm.
name is Salvija Tuna, and I am scam, emotional trauma, and abuse expert. So clearly, I do deal with a lot of darkness. So basically, what do I do every day? So I analyze scams, well, potential scams, potential cults, abusive cases, supporting people leaving active abuse, or supporting them post abuse, regaining their confidence, self-worth, and also understanding that they can attract healthy relationship and the whole process how to do it. Apart from that, and I'm absolutely crazy animal person, fur mom. I have 5 pets. I'm a potato lover, like potato with life, caviar, champagne, and pole. So there's a very interesting personality going on. At this point, I'm usually no bullshit, saying straight as it is. So I might trigger you in this conversation. So got pre-warning just in case.
Just in case. And I feel like that's a good reminder, because when you feel something in you is reacting, instead of, when we want to point someone like with our finger, if you look
Oh
there,
yeah.
there's 3 fingers pointing back towards yourself. So I don't want to say there's something wrong with you or anything. It's just like, hey, can you be curious today? Instead of trying to analyze with your ego, your mental, oh, what is she saying? There is like, it's not true or whatever. Yeah, just look at what's happening inside of you. Maybe take that discussion as a way to explore yourself a bit deeper, like what you're holding on to, all the beliefs. And I don't say question everything. I say have a deep, honest look with yourself and dare to say and realize where you are at, what you're holding on to. Yeah. Do we
No,
have a deal?
I would say question everything, people. It's really healthy to question things. When we don't question things, this is where we get ourselves into the shit. Like looking into the scams and everything, the more you ask questions, the more you're gonna see when something is really off.
Mm,
But yeah, I would
mm,
say
mm,
maybe
mm.
yeah, just question something. Sometimes healthy questioning is beneficial for us. It's just
Yeah.
when it gets overboard, which clearly when you get overboard too much, then this is something that is like not working.
Exactly. I was looking for the words. Yeah, that's you question yourself, but to a certain degree, in the sense that some stuff are good questioning, and you can question stuff and realize that, oh no, actually, I still don't believe that, and I'm happy with what I hold, like the truth I hold inside. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, definitely. So, about the coaching and healing industry, I feel I'm just going to roll the dice and throw them at you. And what do you start with?
Oh, coaching and mentoring industry is one of the good bullshit of them all situation, which there are some good people and there are some shitty people clearly. And as person who has been spinning in that industry for quite a few years right now, I have to say that there's more bullshit than actual honesty. Because are people so much in for money and not actual service, not actually hearing people? I was just yesterday speaking with my friend about this because I don't like sales. I don't like doing sales. Sales doesn't excite me. But as a business owner, I was always told by those coaches and mentors that no, Salvia, you have to do this. You can do them. Of course, I can do them, but it doesn't excite me. And I always told that to people. But did any coach or mentor listen? Do you think any of them told to me like, okay, Salvi, I hear you, how we can work with this? No, none of them. All of them just literally pushed me to do sales. And the thing is that I, for example, better hire somebody to do sales for me, and I just continue doing what I like. So all of these bits and pieces slowly coming out from coaching and mentoring. And I heard so many stories from other people that, it wasn't sales, but it was something else. They telling the coach and mentor, this is not what I want to do, or this is where I'm stuck, or this is where I'm this. And they just constantly been pushed against their will. And this is where I feel the whole industry is going down the hill, because we need more coaches and mentors hearing people and saying, okay, cool, let's see how we can work with this, and not being scared to lose the client, not being scared to lose the payment. Because, if I said to a business coach, I don't want to do sales, and the only thing that they teach is sales, they're instantly in their minds like, oh shit, I'm losing my client if I'm admitting to this. I need to hold her. I need to bullshit her into paying to me. But actually, I would have respected the person more if they said to me, okay, cool, let's see how we can work this out, how we can change the narrative. I would have stayed with them, but I actually ditched all of them because none of them listened to me. So it was like really, really eye opening in so many cases in this case. And yeah, as you mentioned, like pyramid schemes, the whole hype, you know, I have more than 10 years experience in IT. All of these screenshots that they show, all of these sheets and everything, it's so easy to fake and make. And like, I could literally show you my bank account right now and edit it to be like, I have like 1 million in it. It's so easy. So this is where I find ethics also going down to shit in the coaching and mentoring industry, because people like fabricate their success and everything. And one of the big things that people don't consider, have you ever noticed that all of us successful and big coaches suddenly end up living in a very cheap country like Costa Rica, Vietnam, Bali, Thailand, where actual average living is not that expensive? Because if I would have shitloads of money, trust me, babes, you're gonna find me in Monaco.
I will be there. Oh no, I never noticed. Never noticed that.
Yeah,
Mm,
I kind of started catching on to it because I'm like, after my experience with Spain, which Spain doesn't count really cheap country, but their mentality, especially south of Spain, is really slow development because they're not rushing. They're very chill. They're very laid back. They're siestas, mañana, all of these things.
exactly. Also, it's very hot there, so you're like, "Ooh, slowing down"
Well, it's hot during the
during the summer.
yeah, which totally get then because you're just like, I'm dead. That was me, by the way. I was like, if somebody's like, can I have a session? No. Nothing good is gonna come out from it. But like off season, it's a really great kind of a way to pick up the pace. And everybody wants to do that. And for me, for example, really driven person and something, I struggle with that because I want to get the service. I am from the background where, let's say, shops work 7 days a week. There is no siesta. You can easily get the service. If somebody you book appointments, somebody says they're gonna come, they come. It's not like 5 hours later or 5 days later. So I was a little bit, thinking, how come people who are, let's say, driven running companies and they have management in place can end up in the country where everything is out of order? So it was like really, for me considering, because if we look at successful business owners, so for example, Richard Branson, the Sarah, I don't know her last name, she found Spanx, Grant Cardone, Alana Cardone, they're real estate moguls in USA, Elon Musk. How the fuck they didn't end up in some sort of Bali, Thailand, Vietnam, or Costa Rica? Because running a successful company, you have to be in civilization. You have to be somewhere where you have experts available, where you have resources available. Those countries not always provide them. And for example, me coming from Lithuania, a lot of countries come to Lithuania because there was people speaking in English, good in IT, cheap, and they look how to use these things. So a company that has a branch in, let's say, a country where it provides resources, that's fine. But I never saw company owners suddenly r- residing in random country who run
Mm,
successful business, and that get me thinking, and I was like, oh, but that's a really good point. They go on holidays, They can take long holidays, they can do, let's say, business trips or something, but they still have their residence in the country that is providing, let's say, life, culture, whatever they need, and they suddenly don't fuck off to just Thailand. You know? Make sense?
Yeah, I see. Yeah, yeah. There is still like, I mean, a part of me gets that, and another part is also questioning, like, maybe is that also like the dream, like the dream of going to like an amazing location and living there because it's cool, to be in Bali. Like last year, I was in Thailand, Bali, everything, and I must say that having started my company, that was really hard actually to really to do it. So like there's a part of me that say, hey, I've been there and I see that,
Yeah.
with the internet connection at first, it was really warm and hot, like at least in Southeast Asia. And I could feel that running the company also, especially at the start, it was really hard and challenging for me. And that's why I also came back to France. So that's that actually goes with what you're saying. And I'm wondering if there are also just some people like that could be as well for the money reason, and also, I'm wondering if people are just like very fancying this dream of, what, I'm successful and I'm going to travel. And a part of me is like this, like I
Yeah.
hope I can really have this, but successful wouldn't be like to the billion or like the billion of dollars or whatever, because I guess that then you need structure and everything. But to me,
Yeah.
a successful business, a successful company is one that allows me to still have free time and manage to do it while traveling. But then I will have to travel different still, like staying
Yeah,
to places
exactly.
more. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, and I get the traveling bit because I do see a lot of business owners who travel, which is amazing. It gives them different perspectives, quick adapting, it brings benefits to your mindset. But when they resign to, like, they choose to live in one of those countries, I'm like, I have questions because, yeah, if I would, let's say, would make millions, multi millions every month, I would love to be in the country where I can get everything like this because I'm running a business, I'm sharp, and then I would go to those countries when I want to rest. And this is what I think a lot of people dismiss in a coaching and mentoring world analyzing already proven, let's say, successful business owners. Like, yes, a lot of people shame them, oh, they're so masculine, they all old paradigm. But fuck me, that works. I'm not saying you have to do exactly like that, but clearly what coaching and mentoring world proves, it doesn't work. How many people have you met that said, oh, I bought this program, didn't work. Oh, I bought this, didn't work. And you instantly are blamed, oh, you didn't do what has been told to you. But what if you have done and it still didn't work? Because that was me. I've done a lot of these things that the programs, told me to do and everything, and it was still was crickets. It was still was nothing. I had to find the balance between masculine and feminine approaches. So then I started analyzing the old paradigm business owners and thinking, okay, how can I bring a little bit more with ease instead of, like, working, I don't know, 16-hour days or something. But you still sometimes need to do what you need to do. And this is what spirituality world and spiritual business owners don't want to hear it. They're just like, I want to fucking meditate million out. Good luck. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna happen, but I'm pretty quite sure it's gonna be a bit hard without
Yeah.
action.
Yeah, and then there is a bird flying by and dropping all the millions in.
Yeah, I would love that my canary starts shitting millions. I wouldn't mind that.
I wouldn't mind as well. That
I
would, I
know.
mean, but I don't have a canary, so maybe I get a bird. Ask
Uh,
the birds there. But yeah, no,
yeah,
but this is kind of the thing actually, when we like, so there is like the coaching mentoring industry, and especially the one that is very influenced by spirituality and is like getting
yeah,
in the feminine energy. And it's true that in order to receive, you need to be in the receiver mode, like you really need to have your energy that feels abundant, and that's true. And you also need to take action, because it
yeah,
doesn't work without action. And I had to realize, like as I started my business, I don't have all the money to pay for the expert and everyone. So I can't just stay on my bed and meditate. I also need to build a website and the landing pages and post on social media. And that takes way longer time than expected. And like now driving to the sessions, and there are things that I know I will be able to remove at some point when I pay people as well. And it's just like, I have to say that's something that really was hard for me. like a few months ago was thinking that I could have everything manifested super easy and flowy as long as I was in the energy, and realizing that, well, actually, all of that needs work. You know, it's
Yeah.
just like the story of there is a village that was flooded, and there is a guy praying God, and he prays, and then, there is the boat coming, the helicopter coming, everyone is coming to trying to rescue him, but the guy is like, no, I'm praying God, God is gonna come. And then of course he dies. And then when he is like
Yes.
in heaven and meeting God, he's like super angry, God, you didn't save me. And God is like, what? I sent you the boat, I sent you the people, I sent you da 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 da. And I feel like this is such like a beautiful parallel to that industry,
Yeah.
because we hope that somebody's going to save us outside of us, but in the end we are the one who need to take action and do the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's that loads of empty hope that, oh my God, this coach and mentor, this is it. People so are hungry to hunt for quick money that's why the scam is so popular. It's so easy in every area: real estate, financial trading, financial investment, coaching and mentoring, especially with business mentors. And people don't consider how these results came in, where the person was in the space. Are they really making the money? Because you have to ask these questions. Like if somebody is parading their, let's say, income or something, you have to ask these hard questions: where the fuck money comes from? Because what I figured out, majority of these coaches and mentors are supported by their husbands. They have a daytime job. They have, let's say, investments that pay the money. That money doesn't come from their coaching and mentoring business. But there is no transparency of explaining that. Nobody knows about this. And for example, how some people come and teach some things, let's say sales. They were learning sales in the corporate and now they're teaching small business sales. It's not the same tactics. You can't teach corporate sales to the small business who's, let's say, selling to clients or another small business. Is not the same. But people don't ask questions. They don't question things. And this is where they start falling into, oh, if I pay 10 grand to the program or to the coach or mentor, I'm going to be fucking rich. I'm going to triple my investment. No, you won't. Like, this is just a very sweet and nice story tale that we all would like to believe. Fuck that shit. I would love to just cash in 10K and get like 30K, and I would be like, jingle fucking balls. But unfortunately,
Da-na-na-na.
yeah, reality and universe gonna give you a slap in the face at that point. Um, and it just depends. Do you want to look into that? Because yeah, of course I was on that high horse at some point. Quick money, I'm just gonna pay somebody, they're gonna tell me what to do, and the money starts coming in. And then, well, that didn't quite happen. So
Yeah. Mm-mm-mm.
exactly. So I was just like, where is the problem? What is this? And the problem was that I was more spiritually bullshitting myself into just believe in it, just trust it, just work on your, blocks or whatever. That at some point I sat down and I was like, what if I don't have any blocks? What if there is no problem? What if I just actually need to get out my ass and do things and get them done? And then understand that I need to later on invest back into my business, hire people, hire help, and start spinning that machine. And then there was a question: do I really want to do this? Because I already done with one business, which was very successful. Did I wanted to do it again? Because that required a lot of effort. And I had to sit down and be really honest with myself, because a lot of people don't even ask that question themselves. They just like, I just want to have business. I want to have freedom. Yeah, but you have a business requires a lot of effort and a lot of uncomfortability with yourself and a lot of, dealing with ego and having ethics. Because what pisses me off right now is, when you hire somebody to do a job, they don't do the job on the time and they say, oh, it's because I have ADHD and autism. Not my fucking problem. You want to be a business owner, you have to provide a quality service. Business area is now becoming very good of like, oh, I can't do this because what I learned in the corporate and what I really appreciate today is that if you promise something to do, you better fucking do it. because you lose respect in the industry.
Hmm.
And I
And
feel a lot of,
reputation.
exactly. And a lot of spiritual business owners today, they're playing on that. They're like, oh, but you have to understand it's all for highest good. It's all in the alignment. The universe gave me a sign. Nah, bitch. I bought a service. I want the service. I don't,
Hmm.
about your problems. Like, it sounds very insensitive, I know. But on the other hand, I am business buying a service for my business. I have things relying on it. I have deadlines. I have something. I can't just now be like, you know, oh, you poor thing, you have ADHD. It's fine. You can deliver next month. I'm just going to sacrifice my business. It doesn't work like that.
Doesn't work like that. But this is so true. And also it's interesting because there are some people also doing that without realizing because they've been so themselves
Yeah.
scammed and brainwashed
Yeah.
by the industry that they're still pursuing it. They're doing it to other people, like in this pyramid way, without even realizing that this is actually happening. And I feel like for me, this is what terrifies me the most because people who are aware, well, you're mean, you're clever, you're mean. But other people who don't realize, I'm like, oh shit, that's scary.
Yeah, and it's just like, if you feel that you're using excuse or something, just look into yourself like, why are you doing this? Maybe somebody taught you to do this, which is plenty. There's a line of people who are teaching that nonsense. And then they will teach you to blame the client that, oh, the client is insensitive. Oh, the client is like not the alignment client. Oh, the client is this. No, if you don't have a good customer service and you don't have good customer care and delivery, your business is fucked. You're not gonna have any business. So I feel there's not enough also talk in coaching and mentoring industry about customer care, about delivery, about really making sure that the client is happy if buying the service. Because if you have clients constantly asking for refunds and something, and they're like, your energy is off. Yes, it could be partially that your energy is off and you need to check it out, but how you delivering the service? How
Mm,
is it going? Because to be honest, so many times that I'm even starting, when you have to pay up front, I'm now even want to pay 50% and 50% when it's delivered. Like, for example, if I'm buying video making or graphics or something, because I've been literally cheated so many times because the person had no, I think they used someone else's videos or something. They looked amazing. And when my videos came, it was absolute crap. And you can't ask for refunds or anything because bank accounts are all over the world. You have no literally protection.
mm.
And right now I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna give you 50%. And once I see the job and I'm happy, then I pay another 50%. Because what happens right now with unethical businesses, first of all, they want 100 payment upfront. Why? Because if this shit's happening, they're fine. You know, I got my money. Then if client wants to change something, especially what happens with web designing, graphics or something, they're just like, oh, fuck it, I don't have time. Again, you can't do anything. So I feel this is very unethical for a lot of business owners, and everybody becomes very vicious towards each other because there is no ethical understanding that, hey, I'm a business, you're a business, you're buying from me, and my job is to bring you the service and also trust that you're going to pay after. Because if we look into the classical businesses, nobody basically pays up front, everybody pays after.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, or you can pay like a little part before
Yeah,
because you don't want to be fucked, of course, as well. But then it's true that you deliver like over time you pay. Yeah.
yeah. Exactly.
Mm.
It's like, and also, if you have a problem with the internet provider, you have a customer care. If there is a really big problem, they're going to take care of it. They're going to refund it. It's not going to be like, fuck you, I have ADHD. Like, you're not going to find it. So that's why, I started comparing these two worlds and thinking, hold on a second. Why in this world we have customer care and we have a voice and we can say something and be heard? Not every time, but majority of the time. And in spirituality business world, we have nothing. The client is literally nobody. Like, it just poof disappears. And then somebody teaches to run an ethical business. It's fine to just dismiss your client. It's fine to, be crappy service provider. It's okay because even when I was training in RTT, one lady asked, My client asked for a refund, and I really don't think I should give it. So I was like, what happened? Well, we had a session. So it was physical session. The client was in her house, and her child suddenly comes back home and goes into the bathroom, which is sharing the wall with the room where was therapy done. So he's really loud in the bathroom, and the client said, like, I'm struggling to relax because there is a noise. Then some sort of alarm went off. Then there was something else. Then her therapist's phone rang. And I was like, yeah, you have to give a refund. Oh, but why? I feel client is being too sensitive. And I'm like, you can't run hypnotherapy sessions with this bullshit and dismiss clients' requirements. You have to give a refund. They were so unhappy. And I'm just like, it just blows my mind because you've been trained in the modality. You know what is required for successful session. You can't provide it. You just want money and want to be a crying bitch because client actually told into your face that this wasn't good quality session. And now you're looking for a support from other crappy therapists to be like, yeah, you shouldn't give a refund. The client is a moaning asshole.
Yeah, it's
It's
crazy. It's kind of the pattern to
right.
not own our responsibility, because if the session was crap for our fault, then this is our fault. But there are so many people who don't want to feel, because there is some shame around that, some guilt of like, oh shit, I did something wrong. And so many of us don't want to feel that. And so
Yeah,
true, being in those communities allows you to have other people help you not take the responsibility, basically.
exactly. And instead of sitting and saying, oh crap, how can I improve the sessions? Because I was exactly the same. If my clients gave a constructive feedback and they said, I kind of didn't like this, I would be like, oh, yeah, that's true. Even with the recordings, like at the end of the session, I have to do a recording for the client. And let's say by any chance one of my dogs walked in the other room and they could hear it or something, I will redo the recording with no questions asked because it's my fuck up. I need to fix it. Or like, if they suddenly need to rebook or something, I have started to see that so many times people like, oh, if you need to rebook it, then your session is not refundable. You lose the money, you need to pay again. Like, look, if it looks dodgy, I understand enforcing this rule because if client just calls you 5 minutes before and says, "Oh, I can't do it because I don't know, I don't want to." I get that. But if client comes and says, what, something happened, I need to move this, you have to have that grace period. And majority right now don't have it. They just literally charge the client, which leaves bitter taste for the
Mm,
whole industry.
mm.
We're not just representing our business, in my opinion, we're representing the industry. Because if I fuck up as a therapist and I'm really asshole to my client, don't I put a little bit of a stigma on other therapists? Of course I do.
Gosh, I had goosebumps when you said that, but this is true. We also hold a responsibility for all the industry, and this
Yeah,
is shit. And that's also why it's like so annoying that we have also scams and so many things going on. And I had people also asking me of the scenes, oh, but you work in the coaching industry, and but with everything that's happening, na na na.
yeah,
And I feel like people have a sort of not fear, but they're kind of, they don't want to be too close to that industry. There, some
yeah.
people are really questioning and doubting that this is working because of all that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly that. That's why I started also a bit distancing from industry because every time I used to say, yeah, yeah, I do, mindset coaching or something, because I personally don't believe people need loads of therapy. I do believe they need some sort of sessions and then they more or less need like a bit coaching and mentoring to get on the track. And for as long as they wish, and then, they are good to go by themselves. They don't need that babysitting, which again,
Mm,
coaching and mentoring industry wants to create that dependency. I don't like dependencies. Like, if your client cannot go and walk by themselves, let's say working with you for a certain amount of time, you're a crappy delivery person because every of my client that went off, they had certain set of tools, whatever the time we worked, what plan we had, they had something to use after and support themselves.
mm,
Now, in today's industry, majority of them make you want to be dependent. Just pay, just stay, just I have bills to pay. I need you to stay. I see this problem in you. You know, when it comes end of the, let's say, one-to-one package, and then suddenly they start telling you have more problems that you need to work on. And I'm like, where the fuck was that before? I
Mm,
suddenly have problems now. So I personally
mm,
don't like that because that shows that person is not really an expert. They're just chasing money. Because if you come to me and I'm like, okay, what do you want? Tell me what do you want? And I'm more or less going to tell you how long it's going to take it to get there. But again, it's not a final, let's say, deadline. And I would say there is possibility we might need to do more, but we're going to revisit that once we're going to get there in case if you don't need it. I don't want to overcharge you for something that you don't need. Or if
Yeah,
you
it's about
decide
like
yourself.
being very clear because as well, as being a therapist as well, I also see that, checking in in people's aura, some people will definitely need more time than others. And
Yeah,
also like going through the session, sometimes we uncover stuff. And like what I'm doing now in the south of France is just by the session for now, like just for the south of France because I'm going in person. And it's nice because it feels like, when it's time is done, then it's done.
yeah,
Some people are not ready for more and they will need more, but that's another story. And there are
yeah,
some people where it feels that we are on a journey ongoing. And this is what I really like because, session after session, we are building something together and I can feel the impact and how it's going. And I really see it as carrying someone for some steps on the way and then let them fly. And I feel
yeah.
like that, yeah, and I feel like this is also the success, that we look for as therapists. And it's beautiful to have people in our world for some time. And I'm also building a community, but then it has a different, feeling or intention than the sessions where you really try to change stuff and help somebody move forward. The community, you do the same, but it's more like giving the tools and helping people come back home feeling good about themselves and giving them the freedom to choose if they want to stay for the vibe, for the feeling, or if they're off and they had what they needed and now that they can fly by themselves. And I feel like being able to provide that
Yeah.
is in the end also a proof of detachment, which in spirituality we're looking for, no?
Exactly. And it's like, I feel this is more about the emotional healing. You know how people say, oh, the longer the client works with you, the better. In this side of the work, I would say the longer the client that works with you, the more crap you are at your work. Because people say, usually in the sales, we are told that your clients need to come back to you, need to keep buying, etc. I don't mind my clients coming back and buying, let's say, retreat or something different. I understand they sometimes will need therapy sessions, but if my clients keep coming back for, let's say, wanting therapy sessions often, either I'm shit at my job or they don't want to heal. One of us is failing at this point, and I need to understand which one is it instead of just taking someone's money. Now, this is where the ethics are absolute crap in coaching and mentoring because nobody asks the question, where's the problem? Why you keep having the same problem? Why you keep coming back for almost the same thing? No, they just charge the person. They just keep taking the money. And when I was trained, they were telling us that, let's say, if within 3 sessions you cannot handle person's problem, you have to refer them because you clearly not gonna handle it. But I find so many people are literally dragging the dead body and hoping it's gonna wake up, which for the client it costs shitloads of money, for the practitioner it costs shitloads of stress, and it's still doing it. And I feel like we do need to have that, safety with ourselves to say, you know what, maybe I'm not the perfect person for you, but I can refer you to somebody else that possibly will give you better results. And
Hmm.
not to fear that your whole reputation or ego or job history is going to crumble because you admitted that maybe you're not the best fit after all. Because I had to let some clients go and say, you know what, I appreciate that you really want to work, you want to change, but I just don't see the commitment. You have to do the work. And it's just not fair for me to keep charging you and keep, pushing you to check in, show up for the sessions while I truly see this risk, this is really hard for you, and give them the space to think about it. Or like, I feel like I'm not the best person to work for you because I can't relate to the problem, but I know somebody who's really good at this. And not to be scared I'm going to get poorer for that, that my bank account is going to now be dead or hang itself because it's a really massive, fear in the industry. Like,
Mm.
they really push hard for sale. Like, you're almost haunted to pay them.
Yeah, yeah, that's also the feeling I had in some with some coaches, who really want to make you go to their events or places or
Yeah.
whatever, and then they ask again and again and again. And if you had asked me only one time, I checked the event and I was like, "Whoa, this is amazing! I really want to go." But after you asked me 10 times in like 2 weeks to come, I'm like, "Nope, not going anymore." And like, for
Yeah.
example. And yeah, I feel like this asks such a great deal of honesty with yourself and of
Yeah.
ethics with yourself as well, because being able to, and in both cases, being able to realize, okay, maybe I'm not the person who can help that client. That's already like big bravery to be able to witness that, to own that, and then to do the right things. And also on the other sense, and I feel like this is where I can maybe still struggle, and this is where I see somebody who is not doing all the efforts as well, who is not ready to heal and who has too much resistance. And this is so hard to tell them, well, it's on you, and then tell
Yeah.
them that, maybe we need to stop working together for a moment just for you to maybe get to that space or think about it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because in the South, I had a session, like I had a package of 3 sessions with the lady. And it's cool because by the end of the 3 sessions, she decided that, that was enough. And she's literally the kind of person who is resisting the thing. Like she's really resisting going inward. And we started to unlock a few stuff. And when she said that, okay, then that was the end, I felt in my belly like the expansion, like, ooh,
Yeah.
a release. And that's why I feel like it's so important to acknowledge that as well, because we forget it also goes in that sense. And sometimes it's not you doing something wrong, it could be as well, but it's also like, hey, is the person ready to receive? So in the end, it's the same
Yeah.
challenge, just two faces. Maybe this is not a fit, and that's it, and we need to own it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's really deep, and people don't consider that because all they want to do is a payment. And you know, people fixing and rescuing, oh, that's so fucking damn big, is just horrendous. Like, they try to prove you that you have a problem and you need to work on that problem now. And they are the only person to fix it. Oh my God, it's the biggest bullshit of them all. So, because for example, like, knowing what I know with the mindset, nervous system, and everything, I see a lot of people's problems, but it's not my job to prove them that they need to work on it now. I might hint that say, oh, I noticed that. And sometimes people, yeah, I know about it, but they're like, it's fine. I don't want to deal with this. It's okay. It's cool. It's not the time. And sometimes people are like, oh, I didn't know. What do you think I should do? And sometimes people are open to explore more. And sometimes people like, yeah, maybe one day. And it's for us as professionals to accept that, okay, cool. Instead of going into the battle, that no, let me prove you wrong. Let me prove you that you need my services. Let me prove you that I'm right, and let me take your money and make you feel that I just financially and emotionally raped you. It's like literally that. And it's a problem with the person then, because like, have I ever not wanted to people rescue? Yeah, that was a big problem for me to deal with. And
Yeah, the
I've
saver syndrome. Yeah, definitely had that too.
yeah,
But also, I realized that having a business, like realizing that, because for me, at first, and even with my family, like, oh, you should do this, you should do that with your health and nutrition and da 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 da. I was so annoying. I was really annoying. And the more I realized that and own the fact that, hey, everyone comes to with their own timing. And again, this is detachment again, like not trying to control people outside of you, being the model. And since I decided to be more, in with that philosophy, that approach to life, now my dad started to make like some detox. Like every month he does a week of detox. I didn't force it. I decided to do it myself and say, hey, do you want to try? Sure. And now he's doing it even more than me, which is
yeah,
kind of cool and sweet. And same for my business, actually. Since I realized, when I'm talking to people, I do notice like patterns and stuff, definitely. But I don't have to tell them. And also when we eventually get to that conversation where, hey, oh yeah, there could be something about, XYZ. And
Yeah.
if I feel, you feel when they get like contraction mode and they're resisting already and they don't want to speak about that, I let it flow now. And I realize that I have more people coming to me because those people who were resisting at first, or, it's like a little seed in their aura. If you let it grow by itself, it
Yeah.
eventually grows. And then they come to you or to somebody else who they really resonate with. And I feel like in the end, our job as therapists is to help people plant seeds. And maybe this is not going to be growing for you in the sense they are not going to work directly with you, but at least you set them on their path. And I
Yeah.
feel like this is what's, in the end, that's what we're here for. It doesn't matter if it's you or somebody else, coaching someone, helping someone, as long as this person is evolving, growing. I guess this is what we want, no?
Yeah. And it's exactly that. If we look at the ancient cultures, wise person never chased somebody and harassed, you need to heal this now. You need to do this now. No, they were just sitting there and people coming to them. It's just they, had to let to know about themselves. And for example, I also now I just educate people about hypnotherapy. What is it, how it works, etc. Because I feel there's so much misunderstanding about hypnotherapy that I don't want people necessarily booking, session with me. All I want them to do is to understand how healing hypnotherapy is different from the stage one. And if they ever need help, this is one of the tools that they can explore and find a therapist or contact me or something. And it's just a very nice, easy feeling because we all hate pushy sales. We all hate them. When you go into the shop, how can I help you? He dead.
Very straightforward. We warned you.
It's like, I'm like, I just got here. I don't even know. Like, if I need help, I'm going to find you. I always love when they say, hi, I'm assistant in the shop. If you need anything, I'm going to be around. Just like, they inform you how they look like. And I'm like, okay, cool. I appreciate that. But they're like, how can I help you? You can't.
Please bye.
You look like somebody I would call police on. Back off. Like, so it's like, yeah, all of these things and people don't really consider. And especially with the cold DMs. And one of them was connected with me, and it's like, oh, so nice, chitty chat. I checked your profile. Your work is so amazing. You're doing amazing. And I'm like, really, what the fuck am I doing then? You can't even pinpoint one thing. And then it was like, boom, message. Oh, I have a mastermind or something. And the only thing I replied is, the fuck? And they never responded back. And I was like, well, if you're sorry into the chat and I just responded the fuck, which clearly indicates I'm irritated, you should be navigating that situation if you're trying to actually really get me interested, or at least say, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to just bombard you. But no, they ghost. And all of these things really leave bad taste about coaching, mentoring, and even therapy side of the
Mm,
world right now,
mm,
which pisses me off because I'm like, you should be there for people and making them feel safe instead of haunting them for money, making tricky contracts that they have no rights to cancel, and they just have to pay you even if you're just crap at your job and if you can't provide any service, if you can't provide
mm.
any results. So it's just like all of these things just left massive ick for me. And this is when I started really deeply analyzing and, going deeper. Is this potentially a scam? And unfortunately, a lot of that is.
And also, like, again, the sad truth about that is that people do not even, many of those people, I think, like, even the majority, do not even realize they are perpetuating scams.
No, they do. They do. They're just an assholes.
I feel like there are some assholes, and I feel like there are some people who genuinely don't realize they're in this pyramid industry, who are being
Well,
scammed
yeah,
and
yeah.
scamming as well. Like this kind of passive scamming, I would say, more
The
that
lower level people who are like just trying to get somewhere and they just like copy pasting. But the ones higher ones, let's say bigger no names, oh, they absolutely know what the hell they're doing. And there is just very innocent upfront that they portray. I can't even pronounce the word. But in the back end, they very well know what they're doing. It's just it
Mm.
looks like it. So it's a well crafted thing, but unfortunately, yeah, lots of people out of desperation for money just copy paste it.
It's funny. There's still like a part of me who is like, hoping and dreaming. The part, like the little girl in me who's like, no, I hope this is not true. And that part of it, the big coach, like the mentors I'm admiring. I hope that maybe they don't. Maybe there are exceptions. It's funny how like the mind works. I hope, okay, this is true, but maybe not for that person and that one and that one and that one.
Yeah, and that's why it's so easy to scam people because
Mm.
everybody wants to think good about other people. Now, it's not doesn't mean you need to think always bad about people, but just be vigilant. Also, I think a lot of people also don't know that promising, let's say, monetary gains, or let's say you're gonna 3x your business, you're gonna make 10K months, or I am a coach for 6, 7 figure, business. All of these claims are actually legal. I don't think a lot of people know that this is legal, that you can't actually do that. And if you sell somebody with the claims like this, at least in Europe, it's illegal. You actually can sue somebody because they mispromised you and they never delivered. So there's a lot of that in the industry that people actually don't know for themselves what the fuck they're getting into and not reading contracts properly because every contract has to have a cancellation policy. You can't have no cancellation. In Europe, it's illegal. The customer has to have a right to cancel if the service is unsatisfactory. Majority of people don't know that. I don't know about the USA. USA is a little bit different, but this is where do your research. What are
Mm.
your rights when you are going to buy from somebody? Because a lot of large companies, they do have a bit of more appropriate contracts because they can report it to ombudsmans and everything. Small spiritual business can fucking bankrupt tomorrow. There is no company. You have nobody to sue. So just, understanding what even you're signing up for. So I feel the spirituality, coaching, mentoring, and, all that business side is so based on fairy tale dust and glitter that people just blindly trust and don't understand their rights and a little bit of like logic bit, which sounds, oh, it's boring. Oh, it's old paradigm. Oh, it's shit. Hi, welcome to Earth. We're still fucking here. That's how it's
Yeah.
been.
Yeah, and it's not just about business. In the end, there are so many people like trying to escape the 3D to go to the 5D and stuff, but in the end, in the 5D, there's still like the first 3D, which are here, done here on
Yeah,
Earth. And in the end, it's about, and I feel like also probably the highest, like one of, not the highest point of spirituality, but like um, a good measure for me to know if somebody is like quite advanced in their spiritual journey is when they realize that they're human and they're a part of this earth and they dare to engage with life and
yeah,
accept it as it is. Like for me, this is a great sign. And same goes with business. As you said, there are some stuff we try to avoid because this is not spiritual. Well, to me, spirituality is in literally everything, as well in contracts, in cancellation policies, for example. It's in
yeah,
everything. Yeah,
yeah. It's like, I get being that spiritual and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. You go ahead. But you have to check in with reality at some point because unless you have somebody taking care of everything for you, the bills, the food, and all that stuff, and you can float around every day, all day, good for you. Go ahead and have a good time. But as for me, I still have to pay the bills. I have a mortgage. I have 5 fucking pets, which are literally character destroying every day. I have to be with the reality. If I suddenly start floating and meditating, meditation is not going to feed them. Meditation is not going to pay their insurance. Meditation is not going to pay my mortgage, which, yes, I might sound a bit of a Debbie Downer, but it doesn't mean like you have to go one extreme or the other. You can find
exactly.
the balance that works for you. And it's like, whatever you need to do. Because I was here and speaking with my friend, she's like, not giving up on my business. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I'm like, babes, your nervous system is all over the place because you don't have financial security. How about let's think of maybe getting a job temporary so at least you have bills to pay, security, and you have mind capacity to focus on your business? She was like, no. And I'm like, Right. So you're now just gonna crap your pants from month to month. How you gonna feed yourself and your kids? She's like, right. So how the fuck that's gonna attract you more money? And I'm like, right. And I said, if you can have some projects or something that, let's say, gives you income, do it. This is one thing that a lot of coaches don't understand is nervous system. You know, when they say, take a leap, fuck it. The worst thing you can advise to me is take a leap because I'm going to shit my pants. I'm going to overload my nervous system. I'm going to have a PTSD and I'll end up doing nothing. I have to gradually to transfer. And this is what coaches and mentors don't do. They don't analyze person by person situation. What's your nervous system? What was your childhood? What's your risk tolerance? What's your stress tolerance? How far we can go? What is your life situation? Are you single? Are you a mother? Are you with a family? Crappy marriage, crappy relationship. All of these things for us impact how do we build our business because guess what, people? We have basic needs: breathing, reproduction, eating, hydrating, safety, roof over our head. If these are impacted, we can't focus on above. Your business is above. If these are failing, you're failing here. But for some reason, people think like, oh, these are fucking crappy. I'm basically dying. I'm going to focus on this and I'm going to be successful. Nah, you're gonna be in a coffin pretty fast.
Ta-da. But
Boom.
honestly, I have to say, like, I do resonate with that. Like, I mean, love the way you're saying it. We are definitely we have such a different vibe, but we agree like on the, the deep, deep truths, like that you talk about. And on my side, like on my situation, like if people have been here for some time in my world, they know I had to take a job as well because my nervous system, I was trying to be in the, focusing on the business, and like I'm living under my dad's roof. So there are many things that are being taken care of for me. I just have this freaking student loan to reimburse every month. And I was getting to this stage where I couldn't pay it anymore. And it was coming. It was really coming. And I had already take, credit with friends.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. And honestly, it took me 6 months to resist that decision, really, because I was, but it's working for everybody,
Yeah.
all the glitters, they were like all in front of my eyes. And I really thought, but this is going to work. This is going to work. I know it. I'm going into the right energy. And my nervous system was like, there is no way. Nope. I don't think we're going there. And when I decided to take that job, at first it happened in 10 days. So that was literally like, God, the universe, they were like, yeah, we're going to show you it's the right thing to
Yeah.
do. And I could feel like an immense, even before I started the job, just knowing that I was getting it, I could feel the release in my system. And guess what? I started to have new clients here offline in the south of France. I was just resisting my reality and what was. And I'm making more money in my business right now since I have this job.
Yeah. And when you decided to take a job and you took on the job, I even like, I was like, fuck yeah. It was even like, more respect for you because like how many business owners know if I take a job then means I kind of a failed or something. No, sometimes it means we have to do what we have to do because I had very difficult financial situations. I've sometimes been solo breadwinner. Fuck it. I've done whatever I needed to do to make ends meet, to make it happen. And I am proud of that because this is what it shows proper leadership. I didn't fucking sit down and like, it's gonna work, it's gonna work, it's gonna work. I'm just gonna put on a credit card and another fucking program. No, I busted my ass and I went to do what I needed to do. And this is why we see today successful people out there. And I mean proper successful people, not just one who maybe screenshot some bank account. I don't know who the fuck is it, but I'm gonna tell it's mine. Um, so it's like, Simon Sinek is one of the favorite people, speakers, that I love to listen. He's a successful person, but his company didn't build in one day. He had to do a lot of things. He had to do a lot of, creativity, leadership, and all of these things. And I love that. And I think spirituality, coaching, and mentoring is missing that. So, that you leading from the place that, fuck it, if I need to get a job, I'm going to get a job to regulate my nervous system and to play it smart, not just like, oh, but I should just believe and receive. For
Mm.
me, it's just like you're avoiding.
And also, like, what comes to mind when you're saying that, because there are some people who definitely have a different kind of nervous system where actually taking risk is good for them and they need the adrenaline and, they can take those risks and it's ramping
That's
up.
that's trauma response.
Okay, still, they, they end up being successful.
Yeah.
And actually, no, I like that you say that because I was also heading there. If you also analyze how it happened, like I have a few examples in mind, not so many, but I don't want to put names here. It's like sometimes, they're successful people because it's still because they're part of this pyramid and they got closer to people at the top of the pyramid and they were struggling and it was hard and it was like, I believe, I believe, I believe. But I don't know if it's really their work that was paying off and being rewarded, or if it was the relationship with that person on the top that allowed them to unlock something. So is this the actual work that the person is teaching? Or is this because I'm close to the person that I can now access all the rest? You see?
How dark do you want me to go?
Full out.
So, do you know that majority of the time these people pay each other to say the stories that are actually not true? So the people that you call so-called successful, majority of the time are just fabricating the success, but they're really miserable in reality. But since you can't meet them, because let's say they're in USA and you're in France, you can't actually confirm that they are truly successful. Now, this is where I ask, how dark do you want me to go? Because analyzing scams and how these things work, this is unfortunately the daily truth. They hire Airbnbs to build the content. They fabricate their bank accounts. They fabricate the whole social media to look that they are successful and they're making money to increase their sales, but they actually don't. That's why I started questioning why they, let's say, to decide to live in Vietnam or something. If you're making millions every month, it makes no difference where do you live then. So it was just all of these small things I started to notice. And I have to say, a lot of people put a weight on other success, which we have no absolute truth. Do you know that the billionaires of the world are in debt? They're managing debt. That's what they do. And I
Hmm.
think a lot of people don't know that they're not actually billion rich. They're billion in debt on their name. So that's what not people know majority of the time. And if you go to some training, let's say Robert Kiyosaki, he talks about it, that rich people just manage the debt. They get loans from banks, they get loans from private investors, and they just manage the debt. But since, let's say, they have company, the company is valued at that amount. Does that mean the money is available to them? No. The stocks can crash tomorrow. Some shit can go off. But so these are the things that people don't consider. And if somebody shows themselves as successful, especially on social media, they're just like, oh my God, they made it. How the fuck do you know? How do you know you're not being catfished? How, why some coaches you never met in the real life? Or if you met them in the real life, they've been fairly awkward. You know, the event that I went last year, we're not going to name the name. A lot of people that I saw online that looked, oh my God, amazing. I met them. They were fucking shit awkward. They didn't feel successful people. They didn't feel wealthy people. And I've been in Monaco multiple times. I spin in those circles where people fucking have money. And it was absolute sham. And this is when it was even clearer for me that coaching an industry, those pyramid schemes that, you see little groups and people hyping up are just paid marketing. So, like, again, if you see somebody very successful and you're thinking, oh my God, if I buy this, I'm going to be that successful, ask yourself, what the fuck do you know about their success? Which my answer is going to be nothing. You just seen social media.
Hmm. And when they're like, but this is like the screenshot of like, my thing. Also, like when you add up, they're like very transparent about what they do in their business, the offers they have, the number of people they have, and it seems to add up as well. So I don't know. Still here, I would say I do believe that there are out of those people still some gold mines. People who are really doing the thing. I
Oh,
mean,
well, yeah, you absolutely do have. So, for example, let's say from a little bit more known names, Rebecca Campbell. So she's legit. I don't like Tony Robbins, but clearly he has a business like from that. Um, did I say Mel Robbins? No, I didn't say Mel
oh
Robbins.
no, not I love her. She's amazing.
Yeah, so we have people that they do it. It's just a little bit different, let's say, business model or something. It's absolutely possible if you build it as a proper business. But as talking of online stars that they're popular online between certain groups, these ones I call scammers.
All of them?
Around 95%. Like
Hmm.
there are I know like some people in Europe they're really good, but let's say those who they invite each other to on the same stages, the same circle spinning and spinning and spinning. These ones usually have a kind of a scam scheme which is not really real. The real coaches, you will notice, they do not spin with the same people over and 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 over again. You will see them collaborate, but more or less they're a bit of a separate land because their business is separate.
Hmm.
This is what I personally started to look for because it shows independence. If you look right now about those schemes you're talking about, they're fucking heavily dependent on each other, aren't they?
Hmm.
Yeah, and this
Hmm.
shows that there is something going on.
Hmm.
This is when it starts to see like it's the same people circling over and over and over and over and over again. Where is the fresh meat? And the fresh meat is only coming when they become one-to-one clients. Then they are showcased. Then they are put out into the world. Why? Because they paid the money. It's a marketing scheme. I can't say is it good or bad, but will you have results? I really doubt that because they pay for marketing, they not pay for teachings.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. And
it
exposure and visibility, basically.
yeah, exactly. So it depends what do you want to do. And also since a lot of people starting to open their eyes and say, you know, I have no results from this, and I have this and I have that. Do you want to be associated with these names? Again, it's your business choice. It's nothing else. And for some people, yeah, well, I want to be associated with them. It's fine. But again, it's, you know, people going to question your ethics at that point. So it's just all of these things that you see proper businesses. Like, for example, how come Tony Robbins never ended up, you know, collaborating with somebody long term? Because he has a business. He doesn't need somebody. They do collaborations to boost. It's nice. How come Mel Robbins didn't marry with some other coach? It's proper business. Collaborate, that's it. How come Simon Sinek didn't marry with somebody else? You don't see them being married with some certain group of people over and over and over again. They do some events, they do some talks, they walk away, they collaborate with companies, but it's a business deal. What we're seeing in some of the groups of coaching and mentoring, we see like long time partnership. I don't want to use word cult because it's not actually a cult, like it doesn't suit the structure, but they're very close and tight. They're very dependent on each other. It's like dependent friendship.
Yeah, it's as if they don't have a business by themselves, but all
Yeah.
together they are the business, like all together. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly that. And then you will see a lot of bots. You can recognize fake following. I've seen so many accounts that they have bot following. My friend, like a little bit, explained to me how you can recognize that. There's a lot of things if you really want to look closely. And it's not about that, oh my God, everything is shit. It's just if you want to buy something you're not really sure about, you can do these things to just double check and be sure that this is where you really want to invest your money. That's why I talk about these things. It's not about the whole industry is crap. It's just there, do your homework. And then if you're okay with it, you're okay with it. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also it depends what you want to gain from that. Like, if
Yeah.
you want to go in that community because you want the network, or you want, like, this is not going to be about the teaching, but about the exposure,
Yeah.
then that's your choice. But in the end, it's really about coming back to your own truth, knowing how things are inside, what do I want outside, what is being proposed for me for real. And then you make your choice, because in the end it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't use those, like, not go for the scam. Like, you know that this is a scam and still decide to go for it, for example, or decide to go for
Yeah.
it but for a different reason. This is, in the end, this is like, again, your choice. There is no right or wrong. And especially if you know what you're engaging yourself into. Yeah.
Yeah, apart from that, if you're going to be sacrificed or murdered, probably think twice just in case, because there are some good.
Just, I would say so as well. But maybe you need to do that, so you take your lesson, big slap in the face, and then you know. That
Come
could be
back
the
to the
story.
next life. Just for the next life, you're just like, we've been murdered. Okay, we're going to be careful.
Let's be a bit careful here. Yeah, no, definitely. Is there anything you want to add, as a final thoughts to run it up?
And I would say that, this conversation is probably going to be a very thought provoking and triggering, and, it might be like crushing some, ideology on some people, which is okay because I personally gone through that phase myself. I was like a screaming kid and banging on the floor. It's like, why? It's okay. But I hope that this conversation brings, food for thought and just a little bit more questioning things. Do your homework, do your due diligence. Is the person legit? Can you trust them as the service provider? And always remember, if you're going for coach, mentor, therapist for do things for you, quick success, or friendship, which does happen, you're in for the wrong reasons. I would say stop for a second and think, what is really missing out for you that you're just trying to buy from somebody else. Um, so yeah, instead of just, spending money, think about it. And apart from that, just be open-minded and don't be scared to let some people go. Because I feel, when some of those coaches and mentors build the name, not really build the name, it's just like fan group, be okay to let them go, because a lot of people are scared for some reason. Oh, if I unfollow this person, my business is going to go to shit. Trust me, it won't. It won't. There is 8 billion people. You're fine. Fine.
8 billion people. You're fine.
You're fine.
Point. Period. Okay, I love the conversation. And I have to say, I'm also part of the people whose ideology have been crushed and still are being crushed, and also having conversation with you before we did that podcast really participated to that. And I have to say, I had my fair amount of resistance as well. And if I'm being honest here as well, during this conversation, I still have some part of me resisting. And I also still see the truth in that. And in the end, again, as you said, this is about checking in with yourself and not just like what you want and what you hope, but also your fears and what is not so, you
Yeah.
know, good to see about yourself, all the shame of, oh shit, then I've been believing something wrong, and you don't want to feel that. So you try to avoid and still pretend that this is not true about the industry. So again, just let it sink in and realize, hey, what's in for me and what do I really, what's really going on? Truth inside and out.
Yeah. And I would say if you are getting into that, like, oh crap, are there any successful people in this world? There are. And I would say do give them a follow or just check them out when you feel that, like, oh my God, because I did find myself in that position that, oh crap, is everybody a scammer now? And I just needed a moment of like going to the people, let's say I know famous actors or singers or something, that just give me that energy that like, no, 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 no. It's like, yeah, there are some loads of crappy people in every industry, but it's just like trusting to attract the good ones. And then eventually I did. But it took a little bit of a raw time and chatting with myself and ditching the fairy tale that, hey, I need to start looking into the facts. It's business after all, it's not a friendship.
Mm, I will leave that here. Thank you. That's, I feel like this is like pure bomb of truth being dropped. So thank you, Salvia, for all the wisdom, the spicy wisdom with darkness around. But, and it's you. And this is what I love because you're super, super authentic. You're
Just
super authentic.
adopt it. So,
Yeah.
but also thank you for having me. It's like, well, a lot of people not gonna have that conversation because they're gonna be like, no.
What are people going to think about me? Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no, but I feel like for me it's important that we really bring the real rawness here, because there are some people who pretend that they're doing that and they don't dare to have those conversations, and at least not
yeah.
publicly. And so yeah, that's why, yeah, that could be risky, but I don't care as well because I think it's very, very important that people know. So thank you for putting
Thank you.
some light on that. And I see you around. Oh, how can people connect with you?
Oh, so I just recently created Substack. I do have Instagram, so you can follow me on Instagram. Just put my first and last name, you will find me on Substack. I'm Salvia R. And then I have my website, scoachingtherapy.com. So you can come hang around. If you have any questions about this or something, you can send it to me. I also do scam analysis. So if you always something don't know and need some, expertise, come in. I love those. I always love to insert myself into the scam and dig out the skeletons. I might have problems. I don't know yet.
Might be part of it, but again, there's nothing just black or white. Okay, and I will put all the references in the podcast description, so you'll have it. Don't worry. Okay, I see you around. Thank you.